Welcome back to High Corbett Field. Kevin McCabe along with Scott Rogers, and sit back and enjoy. We've got a great one coming up here, the international final of the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic, and we've got the Albuquerque Aardvarks taking on the Tempe Old Devils. And Scott, what are going to be some of the keys in this game?
Well, I was talking to Bill Kimball, the Tempe Old Devils coach tonight, and he, like most coaches, wants to win it in the forwards. He feels that he has the size advantage and the speed advantage with his people up there, that he can get the ball running through the forwards and do it. That's where they need to get their advantage that way.
What about the Aardvarks? Do you know much about them? They've got a lot of guys from New Mexico, a lot of guys who spent some time, a lot of guys who played some years. Andy Murray, their flanker, 20 years of experience out of Chestnut, England.
The Albuquerque Aardvarks are a very experienced side, people who've been playing rugby for 10 years or more. They beat the defending national club championship at Old Mission Beach Athletic Club 15-9 to get into this thing. They should be feeling they can do no wrong. There's nothing like a win like that to give you confidence in a game this big.
They play under manager Reggie Clark. Ray Marone is their head coach, and as you mentioned, they beat the Ombaks 15-9. They also beat New Mexico 12-3 and Santa Monica 6-4 to make it here to the finals. The Tempe Old Devils defeated El Paso 18-0, Palmer 13-9, and defeated a tough Los Angeles club 6-3 as well. So they have fought a tough road here to the finals.
I would think that both these teams are in very excellent shape today. The road to the finals for the Tempe Old Devils, they got off the street. El Paso, a very physical side, they went 18-0. Palmer College, the team of training chiropractors that we saw, another very good side. They came in, a lot of South Africans on that team, beat them 13-9. And then the Los Angeles Rugby Club, again, one of the most respected names in the world of rugby, lost 6-3 to these teams. So there was a lineup of all-stars. A lot of people figured it to be Umbach and Los Angeles, and a rematch of last year's club final. Now we have two upstarts. Like I was telling you this morning, Kevin, it's kind of like having the Phoenix Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowls. They're both good teams because they got good players on them, but it's just not something you would ever imagine when the season started.
All right, we're just about set to get underway here. The two teams stretching in this heat. What about the black jerseys? Will they be much of an effect here, or will they be a problem in this heat? It's got to be closing in about 85 degrees.
Well, I think the Tempe Old Devils, when you're playing in Phoenix, you are pretty used to that kind of heat. I think they'll probably draw strength from it to know when it gets hotter that they can bear down and do that. The leading team in the world, as we all know, is the New Zealand All Blacks. If you look like an All Black, you feel like an All Black. I know that they take extreme pride in wearing those uniforms. They have a few sets of uniforms that they play with, but they always wear their black. It's some sort of variation of black. They love the heat.
Dressed in green are, of course, the officials. Our main referee will be Don Morrison. He from the Eastern Rugby Football Union out of Boston, Mass. He's a good one and has worked, as you mentioned, we have 99 games this past weekend. All of these referees have worked numerous games and really been put through a severe workout. We are going to take a time out now for the national anthem. I believe we're set to honor America with the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner. And for that, we will go to Monica Carney, who is standing sidelines.
From Boston, Massachusetts, it's Don Morrison.
Dave Sitton, the father of Tucson Rugby. We will hear from Dave as he will announce the lineups for these teams and introduce Monica Carney to sing the national anthem.
And a little technical problem field side. It's not unlike any match. The mic cable is tied up. We've got a good crowd on hand out here at High Corbett Field, and still plenty of time for you to make it out for the finals this afternoon. 40-minute half, so we've still got plenty of action to come your way. We just enjoyed a great game just moments ago in the Continental Final. Davis-Monthan Air Force Base coming up with a 14-9. Now it is time to honor America. Monica Carney, who has become a tradition here at the rugby matches, singing our Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
A tremendous performance. Monica Carney singing the Star Spangled Banner, our national anthem, and sent a bit of a chill up my spine with the recent success of the United States at the Olympics. It's very nice, very nicely done. The crowd ready to go. We're ready for rugby football action at its best. We've got the international final here of the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic, and we're in for a good one, I think, today.
The 99th game of the tournament, and it'll start out just like the first game. A lot of even matches, not a whole lot of blowouts here, and I think this should typify it. We're going to see 79 minutes where the game is up for grabs here. I really believe that. I think coming in, the Albuquerque has to be favored just because they won the last meeting 2 weeks ago at the High Desert Classic in Albuquerque. Conditioning shouldn't be much of a factor. Both these teams are from climates like this. Albuquerque is up in elevation a little bit. We really are going to see an evenly matched game today, and that's what you want in the finals. That's what we all came here to see.
All right, Tempe will kick off here as we're set to get underway in the final. The 12-man, the center, Dia George from Wales, will do the kicking, and he kicks it a long ways into the end zone and back out of play, so it'll come out to the 22-meter line and a free kick for the Aardvarks under coach Ray Marone. As you mentioned, they beat the Ombaks. They beat the old Mission Bay Athletic Club, so it was a big victory for them. Caught Lane Lively sleeping a bit back there, but out back to help him out is Mark Fleetwood. Fleetwood with a high kick up and under. It's controlled there by Andy Murray. Andy Murray, and he's run down out of touch as they maul. It comes to Tempe.
Bill Kimball said to look for early from the Tempe Old Devils is if they are getting their forwards to the balls quicker than the Albuquerque Aardvarks there. And it looks to, at this point, that Tempe is beating Albuquerque to the ball.
And we've got a bit of a maul here. It comes free to Salty Thompson. You're going to be hearing that name a lot. He frees it up to Dia George. Dia George from Wales. Dia George, number 12. He's a tremendous rugby player, and it's Tempe controlling the early action. It was interesting, Scott. Both teams came out, warmed up a little bit. They went back into their locker rooms, and they've come out almost like caged lions. Oh, and a knock on here.
Side. Number 8, sides.
They called him offsides, number 8 there for Tempe. Both these teams, really, Tempe looks to be very fired up. They're throwing their body around at the ball. I think Albuquerque has given them a little bit of a momentum switch in the beginning. Salty Thompson will have a chance to put the first points on the board.
You got to love a guy's name like that. Salty Thompson from Belfast, Ireland. I mean, he just sounds like a rugby. Salty Thompson. Just, it fits. It's good stuff.
Salty, when he was playing at ASU, was one of the most feared players ever to play this game in college. He couldn't be an Eagle, or he definitely would have been by then. And in Ireland, he just didn't want to go back. But he led ASU to about a 30-2 record when he played there for 2 years, 82 and 83.
This should be a chip shot. Salty Thompson from about 17 meters. Tees it up, and it is good.
The score now, Tempe 3, Albuquerque 0.
Salty Thompson with a field goal from about 18 meters puts the Old Devils on top 3-0 over Albuquerque. We're still early in the first half. Here's another look at it, and again, just like a point after in pro football, a chip shot for somebody like Salty Thompson.
Good follow through for Salty. He doesn't use the darn kick and tee. He just rips up the ground, puts it in there, and Salty Thompson kicks it right on through with the follow-through. That's got to build his confidence for today. Tempe has got to be pleased with how the first 5 minutes of this game is done. Every key that Coach Bill Kimball told me to look for has happened. They're playing very well.
The fly half, Bill Hayward with the kickoff. He'll send it deep into Tempe's zone, and it's kicked to touch there nicely by Mark Fleetwood. Fleetwood, here's the fullback. Had been listed as a reserve, but has been pushed into the starting role here for this, as you mentioned, the 99th game. A lot of these players saw a lot of action this weekend. And
I don't think it was all on the field, Kevin.
I ran
it to see here when you get into the championship game is you don't get to have the fun on Saturday night that a lot of these people were talking about when I was leaving here.
I ran into a member of the team from Ombak last night, and I said, do you play tomorrow? And he said, no. And frankly, I don't think I could play.
Welcome to the wide, wonderful world of a rugby tournament.
All right, and it's been a great one. It has been one of the best, the 14th annual, and Michelob and Continental a tremendous job. Also, I guess while we have a brief pause here and an all-important line-out, Tucson Cable 12 and their support, just a tremendous job of putting on these games live here in the finals of the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic. We've got
leading rugby producers in the country.
leading rugby network producers. We've got a maul here deep in the Tempe end. Albuquerque comes through with it, a nice tackle here, and we'll have a whistle.
The Tempe forwards really getting to the ball in mass and in power. That has to make everybody feel real well over there. We'll see how much they can keep it up. Of course, you have that adrenaline running in the beginning of the game, but the forward play has definitely been dominated by Tempe right now.
Rick Zubiotti, he's the scrum half for Albuquerque, and it's won by Tempe. The Old Devils come away with it, and a kick to touch. It's nicely done. Tremendous job
Thompson.
by Salty Thompson with a kick to touch here, positioning all important here on the early going.
He knew exactly where that one was going. Just a little pop kick out of bounds, landed at about 2 feet inside the end line. Line out still for the Aardvarks, but Tempe is getting it to go wherever they need it at this point.
Right at the 22-meter line of the Tempe, of the Albuquerque Aardvarks. Tempe in black, Albuquerque in white, and we've got...
I think Tempe came across the line a little quick there. They went for the deep line out. Tempe lines up 2 guys that are at least 6'4" among their first 2 jumpers, so you will look for a lot of deep line outs tonight, much like the Eagles were doing and BYU was doing in their game, trying to get the ball deep right off the bat.
Bill Haywood with the boot here. It's controlled by Salty Thompson, who's back there all over the field. You're going to be hearing his name a lot today. Here's a kick high, a high ball up and under, and look at Salty Thompson there to make the nice hit.
Such an aggressive player every phase of the game.
Tempe controlling the ball quite well here in the early going. Again, off the maul. Back to pick it up is Haywood. Haywood with
well
a
done
kick to touch, but Salty Thompson is back there to field it. You can expect him to kick it right back in. And indeed he does, a high kick. Now watch Salty, he'll come right after it. Retrieved there by Andy Murray, and Salty Thompson is right on top of him.
They're kicking more for offensive possession than for field position here. I think Tempe thinks they can run it down Albuquerque's throats, and that's how they want to do this, because Salty easily could kick it out of bounds. He's shown us that he can, but they want to do some up and unders and get the offense going right off the bat. I credit Salty for an aggressive game plan there.
Yeah, the up and under, when we refer to that, it's a high ball, almost like a third down quick kick. Get it up in the air and then quickly go down there and try to play it. Thompson here, quickly wheeling to Dia George. Dia George getting it outside, and here's a great feed back to Lane Lively. Lane Lively taking it in.
Super play by Dia George. That was just physical and smart rugby. And Lane came back in. Lane Lively came back in to wind through on the inside, and Dia George knew exactly who would be there. He's got a guy going in, running nice and free, and immediately looking for support. Perfect ball on the run.
Give the credit to Dia George, 32-year-old player out of Wales, and then a tremendous effort by Lively, who made the second effort diving for the try.
Lane Lively grabbing a guy and dragging him for 5-6 yards there as he goes in the end zone. Tempe Old Devils are really on their game today.
Leading it 7-0 now. Salty Thompson will attempt the conversion from about 24 meters. This well to the right. A tough angle, by no means a gimme here.
They're going to say Salty can build some confidence making this one because they don't come a whole lot tougher than this.
Salty Thompson from Belfast, Ireland. He's known tougher times than a rugby field.
It's amazing how the hush falls over the crowd for the conversion here. And he misses wide right. Tough kick for Salty, but he misses that one, so Tempe goes up 7-0 over the Albuquerque Aardvarks early in the first half. Tempe Old Devils, if they play like this, I think they're going to coast.
Yeah, you can almost sense like they came out fired up. They came out, blew Albuquerque right off the ball, and have since gone ahead 7-0, taking a lot of the wind out of the sail of these Albuquerque Aardvarks. Tempe controlling the ball here. On the quick pitch, it goes to Dave Goldberg. Goldberg is number 2. Back to Eric Peterson. Peterson back to Thompson. Thompson with a quick kick ahead, and again, they're not kicking to touch. They're kicking for possession.
They're trying to really play a lot of offense. They're getting such clean ball out of their rucks and mauls. The fly half for Tempe Old Devils and the scrum half, Brian Pease and Salty Thompson, really getting the ball out well to their backs. Let's see what the scrum half does here. Brian Pease, a couple of great passes to Salty. Salty is the quarterback. Bill Kimball said, we must have a great game from Salty to control the tempo with his kicking and to control our field position. So he's the guy that they'll lean on today. And as far as we've seen right now, Salty Thompson is playing a great game.
Brian Pease, 29-year-old. He's the scrum half. He'll put the ball into play, retrieve it. He's almost like the center. He'll put it into play and try to get it to Thompson, who, like you said, is the quarterback. He's the 10-man, and here it is. No, a nice dummy fake, and they'll send it right back in to the flanker. 7, Andy Murray.
Good improvisation there by Pease.
Excuse me, Mark Wolf. Wolf back to Thompson. Drop kick from midfield, and he just missed it to the left of the crossbar.
And he didn't have but 2 seconds to just drop and hit that and got all his foot into it. Salty Thompson is just what they used to call back in Mississippi a triple threat.
Here he goes at midfield. Tremendous play there by Wolf. Mark Wolf, number 4. The nice little snap back. It goes from Pease to Thompson, who just gets a real boot into this one.
He just doesn't take long to set up. You know, that's sort of the thing that makes a difference in the NBA. If you can do what you can do with not much setup. Another great booming kick by Thompson.
Kicking for field position and kicking for possession. They're not. Oh, and a nice hit at midfield. A little airborne action here. And we'll have a scrum.
Get up slow, get up. Relax, stay back.
Doing a little rucking there. I think they've already inserted a substitute the Albuquerque Aardvarks have at fullback. I don't think that's Carl Hawkins anymore.
Off the scrum, Pease will control it. He's got Thompson out there. Thompson at midfield, dishing back off to Larry Sims. Sims leaving it for Dia George. Dia George, number 12, and you're going to be hearing his name a lot. He's a good one, isn't he?
Dia George has played so well, and you can just tell the natural instincts that he has for rugby. Skips a man out there on the wing when he saw the guy was too close. A good spiral on the ball, which is a lot easier said than done to throw a rugby ball like that. The backs for the Tempe Old Devils have definitely been a big part of the difference here.
Wait! 128! Black 9, green 4.
Brian Pease calling the signals. It's intercepted here, and here comes the Aardvarks. Dan Marks, number 2. He's got help from John Avila.
Sound like a train was ready to leave the station here. We got some winded rugby players here early in the game. I think Tempe has really run these people around. Albuquerque needs a big play here, and they're going at the posts.
They'll get a kick at goal here. Number 10 is Bill Hayward. He's out of Maidstone, England, and he will tee it up here. He'll not use the tee. He'll just scruff up the turf a bit and tee it up, looking for about almost a 50-meter kick. Angled well to the right. You see the hash marks there on the side of the field.
Now here's a guy from England, a foreign country. We saw him in the Rugby World Cup last year make him from 65 and 70 meters at times. This is still a tough kick.
You could hear him get his whole foot into that one, and he has the distance, but has left it well to the right.
Distance surely was not a problem. He had 10 meters to spare on that one, but cannot put it in, so Tempe still leads it 7-0. Kevin, I think Albuquerque needs to come up with a big play.
They needed it right there. That could have been the difference just to get the momentum going, and could have used a little better boot out of Bill Hayward. So Tempe takes control. Salty Thompson kicking for possession, kicking well down the field. It's controlled there by Carl Hawkins. Hawkins bringing it right back. Thompson is there. Thompson all over the field today. The high kick. And we've got a whistle at midfield.
Mark it, 10 over here.
Your
kick up here.
I think he wants 16. To talk to somebody.
16,
he wants to talk to somebody about conduct here.
Right.
Don Morrison.
Number 16, he's calling for Todd Lavers.
16, please. Here's your mark.
I believe.
Back 10 from here.
And now he's marched off 10 meters. He's walked off another 10, and it'll be given a kick at goal for Salty Thompson. And this should be not a gimme, but certainly very makeable for Thompson. He'll bring it right back outside the 22-meter line, tee it up.
He has a little bit of an angle on this, but Salty has had such a good game so far. It seems like there's about 6 Salty Thompsons out there.
He's been all over the field, all over the field. He's in.
We'll call this 23 meters. They don't even be quiet for Salty anymore. They know he's just going to make them.
Cut it up, and no, again, he has pulled it a little bit to the left. So
I think this goalpost down here has given people some trouble. We've seen a few more field goals made out to the east of us. The west goalpost, tee or anything, just can't seem to put it in. A lot of hooking over there.
and a tough kick here by the Aardvarks. Aardvarks in white.
Oh, behind the back pass there.
They're dug themselves a hole. Thompson is there. So is Haywood. Bill Haywood, number 10.
Aardvarks just really haven't had a chance to put much offense together here. Tempe's had the ball most of the time.
Long kick to touch. And a tremendous kick. A great job positioning by the Albuquerque Aardvarks.
Well done. I think Bill Hayward got that and slapped it out of there quickly. Give them some field position. I don't think Albuquerque has penetrated the Tempe 22 as of yet, have they, Kevin?
It's been, most of the play has been in the Aardvark zone. Tempe really putting the pressure on here. They lead at 7-0. Tempe in black, the Aardvarks of Albuquerque in white. The Old Devils controlling the line out.
Not a straight throw in at all. So it'll go to a black scrum here. Tempe Old Devils will get to scrub it down.
Off the post. Yeah.
It's nice for the referee to move the scrum out of the dirt.
I want it closer. I want it closer. There we are.
Referee Don Morrison, you heard him saying he wants it closer. He wants a tight scrum here. And it's
no advantage in that pack. Both the teams pushing pretty equally.
And they spun completely around.
Scrum it again, White.
So we'll scrum it again, as you just heard there.
You all right?
Hey, Kimball thought that his pack could move the size advantage, but we're seeing a very equal push by both these teams here.
Off the scrum, it comes to Rick Zubiotti. Zubiotti outside to Haywood. Ooh. Nice hit at midfield there by Scott McKinney from St. Louis, Missouri for the Tempe Old Devils.
That's good old American football. It's one thing that really impresses the rest of the country when they come to see the American Eagles play. Ball handling skills aren't quite there, but defense, no one in the world plays tackling, attacking defense like the U.S. rugby players.
Very important play here now for the Aardvarks. A kick at goal attempt for Bill Haywood, and it's straight out from the crossbar. Should be a very makeable kick, about 49 meters.
I was going to say, if Haywood hits it like he did that last one, that should be no problem. But it's kind of like the old adage: the toughest one is the easiest. The toughest one is the one that's right down the middle. So let's see if he can draw it up.
He'll take
his time. Hit that well.
Hit it very well, and he has made it.
Got to be pleased with that one. Lost a little gas there at the end. Wasn't hit quite as hard, but we will take another look at that one. He approaches it real well. This is the kind of training you get from years of soccer and rugby in England. Falls right over the post. Definitely didn't have the distance the last one did, but he still probably had about 5-6 meters to spare.
And has put the Aardvarks on the board here. They trail it 7-3, but what looked like could have been a Tempe blowout has now turned into a real rugby match here at High Corbett Field. Tempe Old Devils in black leading 7-3.
The Aardvarks have really cut down on their penalties here in the last few minutes. Even though Tempe was playing in their end most of the time, Tempe hasn't had a chance to score a lot of penalty goals. Of course, Salty's missed one, but they cut down here and are starting to play a lot cleaner game. I think that will be a lot of the difference because the people at Tempe has kicking for, especially Salty Thompson, look like they can score at will.
That's it. That's it.
Playing deep in the Aardvark zone. A nice kickoff by Salty Thompson, and it'll be a line out for the Aardvarks. Dan Marks is the hooker. He's from Socorro, New Mexico. He's been playing for 15 years, so he certainly has the experience. All of these players here in the International Division certainly have a lot of experience.
Well, it's just these are guys who learned this game in college, and rugby is one of those things a lot like soccer, a lot like golf. The older you get, it seems to be the better that you play this game, and most of your really high caliber type of players are averaging around the 28, 29, 30-year-old range, especially in the United States.
Well, we've got a good crowd on hand here, and they're starting a wave. They're trying a wave in the stands here at High Court Field. Here come the Old Devils on the fly. Nice defensive play by Tony Pino from Albuquerque.
Knocked on, squirt first.
Mark
Black scrum.
Fleetwood just couldn't quite get that ball away early enough. He did have the support out there that he wanted from the winger, Luki Haliakua.
Close and white
Let's
scrum.
let's listen into this scrum and Don Morrison.
That's it.
Nice backhand pass there by Pease.
Salty Thompson, and look at this, the up and under, controlled there by Hawkins, and he's hit. Tempe controlling it.
That was actually a good bounce there for the Aardvarks. It could have easily bounced right into an old Devil's hands, but it got away and made the Devils have to get back on sides.
And a black scrum inside the 22-meter line, awarded to Tempe. This is a very important scrum here.
And right in the middle of the field, so the backs can go either way here. That's what Salty hasn't done. He has spread them out very well. Right in back of him, he has the option. They're leaning right.
Thompson, midfield, attempted the fake drop kick and then dummied, went outside to the far side of the field.
No advantage. Number 12 offsides. Number 12 offsides.
You heard the referee, Don Morrison, saying number 12 was offside, and here is a chip shot, a kick at goal for Salty Thompson, a chance to go up 10-3.
Dia George, the Tempe center, was out there and looked like in good shape. They just couldn't quite give him the ball. Salty Thompson, you can't give a guy like this many chances or he'll just nickel and dime you right into the ground. This will put Tempe up by 7 points if Salty makes this. He missed one like this last time, though.
Should be a very makeable kick for Salty Thompson. Here, just outside the 22-meter line. Call it 23, 22 and a half. And he has hit this one.
Kick is good by Thompson. That extends
Very
the Tempe
true
lead.
kick.
Tempe 10, Albuquerque 3.
Salty is really one of the premier players in this part of the country. He's the Arizona Select side, Inland Pacific Select side. He's organized many tours to Ireland, and he's put the Tempe Old Devils up 10-3. Albuquerque cannot make mistakes that will lead to the Old Devils kicking, I would think, anywhere inside the 50, because Salty looks like he has the leg to do it that way.
Well, with 2 field goals on the day, Thompson has accounted for 6 points. Liley scored their lone try this afternoon, and it is Tempe quickly breaking out. Oh, here's some speed. Demonstrating some speed is Lane Liley. Get it outside to Larry Sims. And we have a maul at midfield here, controlled by David Dalrymple. Dalrymple outside to Sims.
No forward pass there. I think Salty got away with one.
And we'll maul it just about midfield. And here's a break. Here's a break for Dave Goldberg. Goldberg to the 5. Leaves it behind there for Kudaher. And a kick to touch by Albuquerque leaves.
Albuquerque is getting the game taken to him right now, and if Tempe comes down and scores a try here, they are still very close. We could be looking at a pretty dire situation. Tempe is just easily the aggressor and easily has the momentum going with him. And Albuquerque, it just doesn't look like they got up early enough this morning or something.
We're in the first half here. 10-3 our score. Tempe leading Albuquerque. And off the line out, Tempe will control it, and they'll maul right at the 22-meter line. Back outside, Thompson. Thompson with a kick for possession, up and under. Oh, and a tough break there, retrieved by number 6, Dan Hartwick, takes it in for the try. A tough break for Albuquerque, who couldn't handle the reception. Andy Murray had bounced off his hands right into the hands of Dan Hartwig.
Salty plays this one perfectly, and he was right there bearing down on him. Salty, the first guy in.
Their flanker, Dan Hartwig.
And Hartwig pursuing.
Try Hartwig.
Puts it,
Score now,
pulls it
Tempe
right down,
15,
secures the
Albuquerque
ball on a
3.
try. Tempe is putting on a real clinic here. They're looking like they might have given the Waikato people a little trouble.
Hartwick is good for the try, and now Thompson, as we've said all afternoon, will handle the kicking duties, bring it about 24, 25 meters to the well-angled right. It's going to be a tough kick for him.
He'll be going to put his Tempe Old Devils up by 16-3. He needs to make one of these. That's hit well.
But pulled pulled well to the left.
Pulled again. Kevin, I think he's a little quick on his downswing there. You want to give him a pointer or two?
14-3 our score. Tempe Old Devils on a try by Dan Hartwig out of Houston, Texas, 28-year-old, picking up the loose ball. Jeff Walker, number 17, who couldn't handle the high up and under kick, and certainly was a great play by Thompson, who played for possession, and that's how it worked out.
The Aardvarks have not had a chance to play offense at all. I don't think their fly half has even touched it to get it out to their back.
Yes, sir.
And without that, you're not going to get any kind of offense.
Just a minute.
Referee Don Morrison wants a scrum at midfield.
Hang on, just hold it, guys, 1 second.
He'll go over and talk to Keith Royal.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, we listened in.
That's the same thing. That's it. Black scrum. Early. I want it closer. Crouched. Now.
All right, you hear Don Morrison signaling exactly what he wants. It's been a very clean game. Outside here to Tom Lavers. Lavers leaving it for Andy Murray. And still Tempe continues to be the aggressor as they maul it.
The Tempe forwards are so quick to the ball and support and get a good drive going down. See, when they force that sort of thing, when Aardvarks can get a clean ball or a clean setup in the beginning and then force a scrum breakdown, that's their mission and what they're doing. Right now, Bill Kimball really has to be pleased with the play of his big people.
They lead it at this point 14-3 and have been in control throughout the first half here of the international final. And
out the tunnel, not hooked.
Referee Don Morrison says they weren't tight enough.
The Tempe hooker Dave Goldberg kicked that one away from himself there.
Brian Pease to Thompson. Thompson with a nice pitch to Mark Fleetwood. Fleetwood pushing it ahead to Lane Lively, and he couldn't get his hands on it.
They called a knock there on the winger, number 13, Larry Sims. Boy, Salty Thompson made the great play to skip a man there and just put a bullet kind of Christmas on that pass. And that, we haven't seen that in the first games. The fly half really has a crisp backhand pass there.
And now we've got a break for Albuquerque and White. They'll be given the free kick, and they'll just likely kick to touch here just for position to move the ball down the field.
Bill Hayward does have a good foot.
And indeed he does. He gets a lot on this one. And
that's what he wanted to do.
Exactly what he wanted to do.
All right, well, Albuquerque, even though this is early in the first half, I still say this is one of the bigger plays of the game.
Controlled by Dia George. Dia George, get it outside. And here's a break for the Tempe Old Devils. Luaki Holakulu.
Boy, Holakulu, if he could have got that pass about a half a foot up, he had a streaking Larry Sims right going down the field with him. Tempe has a very fit bunch. I mean, they are really fit. They look like they have people who are low % body fat and just all run.
On the offside call by Don Morrison, it'll be another kick at goal attempt. Salty Thompson about 45 meters to the left angle here, and he's had his troubles with the angles today. He has kicked 2 field goals, but none by this margin, none by this far out.
Salty figures he'll get a whole bunch more chances at it. He looks very calm. Excuse me. He looks very calm going at it, and I don't think it'll give him a problem. I feel good about this one.
He'll take his time. Crowd quiets. And he indeed got his foot into that one and drilled it. He drilled that one.
He sounded like it hit up on his ankle a little bit, but he followed through enough and got the hook to put the Tempe Old Devils up 17-3.
We're in the first half, and taking another look at it, you did get the upper part of his, or lower part of his leg or upper ankle on the ball, but he split the uprights with this kick, and the touch judges signal that it is good at a 17-3 lead. Certainly Albuquerque's got to be feeling that they're in trouble at this point.
I'm thinking they're saying, what do we do about this guy, Salty Thompson? He's gotten the ball to the back so well. He kicks the ball so well for position, really controlling the tempo. Bill Kimball needed a good game from Salty. He's getting the good game from Salty. What's it going to take for the Aardvarks? I would think that we need to see what their backs can do. We really haven't had a chance yet. Can they steal this line out? They need some sort of big play.
Tempe with the line out. They lead at 17-3, been in control throughout the entire match, and they take it nicely. Control there by Dave Aguilera, Asbury Park, New Jersey. He's a big fella, and he remains laying on the ground.
Okay, I got it.
Aguilera took a mean hit.
I think he dished out a little of that punishment too. I don't know who he hit and how that guy's still standing, but Aguilera lowered his shoulder and ran over 2 guys.
Here's another look at it right off the line out. Aguilera gets some steam up here, and watch him put the head down.
Wham!
Shoulder there a little bit, and he's wrestled to the ground. Let's see if he doesn't take another hit as he goes down to the ground.
I think he just got a stinger in his shoulder. He carried, who is that there, number 13, Demetrio Cardi. He carried Cardi for about 6-7 yards with both feet off the ground. That, David Aguilera, is a bowling ball.
Looks like they're working on his calf. Maybe he took a spear in the calf or something like that. And if we take a look at it, you can see his knee will buckle underneath the player. So,
oh, he lands. Oh, he lands right on it.
Let's not look at that again.
No.
That's Joe Theismann-like, and I don't think we need to see that again.
The ever-present Tom LaRochelle dissecting every replay that he sees. He caught Io Isiako of BYU last night with a kick, and now he catches that. Oh, and he can still walk on that thing, Kevin. That's amazing. That is amazing after that replay.
He has legs the size of tree trunks, and he appears to be all right. What appeared that could have been a fracture or a broken leg, and now here's an opportunity for the Albuquerque Aardvarks to get back into this game. It'll be Bill Hayward
going at the posts again
from straight out, 53 meters, and he will be straight ahead. And this is, again, like you say, the easiest kick, but sometimes the easiest ones are the toughest. With no hook at all, he just needs to drill it through the upright.
He's almost out there in Steve Kerr land. This is a healthy boot.
Well, he'll get 3 if he does drill this one, and he's a little bit short and to the left, so.
I don't think he got a good swing at that one. He just rushed himself there. And still the score stays. Tempe Old Devils 17, Albuquerque Aardvarks 3, late here in the first half of this International Division Final. High Corbett Field.
We've had a good one. It's the weather's been warm. I mean, the temperatures have been, or the climate has been perfect. A little warm. Drop kick from midfield. Oh, what a boot here by Haywood. What a boot, and he has drilled it.
Well done.
Well done. Just when you thought that the Albuquerque Aardvarks had dug themselves a hole or maybe given up, Bill Hayward steps to the midline and performs a perfect drop kick. Little opening, drop, boom. And he could have kicked this one into the Santa Catalina as he boomed it so well.
He just hit that one classically, bounced it up there, perfect. And that was a good 50-meter drop kick, and you don't see that all the time. Farthest one I've ever seen is about 40.
And you see across the field, the fans have come to life with their own version of the wave. A little minuscule, but a little Tucson trickle, but it is certainly lightning to see the fans coming to life as Salty Thompson kicks to possession, controlled by Larry Sims. Sims is mauled there. Lukey Halokoko, and I'll do my best with that one. He, of course, from the island of Tonga. The quarterback for the Wildcats, George Malaulu. Nice dummy move there.
George, good, sets a good platform. That's what you want to do. If you can't advance it, give it to your people so they make sure they can advance it. They called a knock there. Tempe was getting out, getting some advantage, so they'll call that an advantage rule. Tempe is really setting the ball up well. They're making smart decisions when they have the ball, and that is really a big part of this game. Not only the brute force, but if you're not going to be able to advance the ball yourself, should I kick it out of bounds into touch, give them the line out, or should I turn around, take a little bodily punishment, and set it up for my teammates?
Little swinging movement in the scrum. Comes free to Zubiotti. Zubiotti leaves it there. Controlled by Halokoko. A Tongan who is still a little too faint.
And they are breathing hard out there for the Albuquerque Aardvarks. That looks like a lot of tired faces. Tempe Still looking
Keys will
relatively
put it
fresh.
in play. He'll look to get it to Scotty Thompson, Salty Thompson. Back out to Salty. Pass cross field.
One-on-one.
Get it to Fleetwood. Fleetwood outside looking for Liley. It's broken up there. And controlled by Albuquerque as they maul deep in their zone. Comes back.
Boy, Larry Sims looked like he was wide open there from
And a nice
Mark Fleetwood.
Nice kick to touch by Hayward, who sends it deep into the Tempe zone. You can see some of the fans making hats out of the Michelob containers there.
You gotta, to be a rugby player, you have to be creative. Sometimes they make Band-Aids out of those things.
And you can see it's just a picturesque day here in the old Pueblo. Mountains looking.
William Webb Ellis would have loved it. The founder of the game of rugby got tired of playing soccer, so he just picked up the darn ball and ran with it.
And they, of course, have modified it a bit through the years. Now we're playing on a pitch, a baseball diamond here at High Corbett Field, transformed into a pitch, a rugby pitch, as they maul deep in the Tempe zone. The Old Devils leading at 17-6, and as there was no advantage and no movement.
Black Hardworks looking for a little ray of hope from him there. They got a good push from their pack. We're able to neutralize Tempe a little bit. They're down in scoring range here, and Lord knows they need one badly. Can they get it out to Hayward again? Sure demonstrated a good foot last time. I think they need to run one in for their own self-confidence.
They've only accounted for 6 points on a field goal and a drop kick by Hayward. And off the line out, it comes back to Mark Teal. Teal is 12, and he'll maul. And
again, the Aardvarks just can't seem to find the handle on that darn thing. They've had a lot of knock-ons today. They're going to have to go back into the scrum where they are definitely not at their best.
See if they can't steal the scrum here. Brian Pease is the scrum half. He'll put it into play. Try to get it outside to Salty Thompson. He indeed does, and Thompson will kick to touch here. And I don't think as impressive as he would have liked to have done. Didn't really clear the zone all that well.
Say we're used to expecting a little higher standard of kicking from Salty Thompson. Good crowd out here today. This is like what you want for Sunday afternoon of sports. Can't go up to the golf tournament. $50 to get into one of those things a little bit much, but this is entertainment. This is what sport was meant to be.
A little high tackle there, but nothing major as they maul towards the 22-meter line, 40-meter line.
The Tempe people really get a good push. When they get more than 4 people there, they are driving people away.
They continue to maul, and Albuquerque looking for some sort of break.
Offside, you're not bound to your man. White's kick.
We're still in the first half. Oddly enough, 17-6 our score. Tempe jumped out early, and now here's an opportunity for the Aardvarks from Albuquerque to cut that lead. They trail 17-6 with a kick at goal. This will be Bill Haywood, and he's accounted for all 6 of their points on a field goal and a drop kick from midfield that was near perfect.
And it's not like they're giving Bill a real good shot at it. He has a lot of confidence in his foot because this will be the 3rd 40-plus meter kick that he has tried, and that's no easy task. He hit that drop kick. See what he does with this one.
Taking his time. We're still in the first half. Little shuttle step, and
he got all of that one,
but has just sent it to the right. Just sent it to the right. The touch judge signaled it was off to the right, so our score remains 17-6, and certainly they've had their opportunities. The Albuquerque Aardvarks.
The Albuquerque Aardvarks again have not been able to sustain any sort of offense in their zone inside the 22-meter. They can get it out there and get some penalty kicks, long penalty kicks, but they are getting shots at goal, I guess you can call it. But they just haven't been able to sustain any sort of set-piece ball inside their 22, which they must do. The forwards from Tempe have really dominated this game early.
Interesting kick here. Oh, and a nice tackle, midfield tackle there by Dave Goldberg. Back to retrieve it is Mark Fleetwood. Fleetwood is 15 for Albuquerque, kicking right.
That's you, Kevin. Defended the faith. Almost knocked down the trophy, but we defended
one. Kicking to touch right here to the broadcast booth high atop the Tucson Cable 12.
That was a knuckleball, Kevin. You know, I thought it was going to hit you, so I was ducking, and then it was going to hit me, and I can't have it doing that.
Scott Rogers, our our rugby aficionado who's been on tour with the Wildcats, failed to make the catch there. So I just wanted to inform all the viewers
I'm
that
a forward, Kevin.
they let us down. All right, here's a break for Albuquerque. Rick Zubiak.
Oh, that's about as much offense as we've seen from the Aardvarks. Move that one upfield a little bit. They need a clean ball.
Comes free. Murray is 7. Murray looking for a little help. Gets some from Zubiati. Give it back to Mark Teal. Teal is 12, and they'll ball.
They presented the ball very well the last 2 times. They had a winger out there.
And they'll maul here.
Aardvarks have to be encouraged.
Nice play there. Drop kick attempted by Hayward from the 22-meter line. It was well short.
Hayward going for a left-footed drop kick in there. I would have had to give him 4 just on degree of difficulty for that.
And we've got a pause here for a moment. Dave Aguilera again goes down. He had the problem earlier with the
knee injury. I think he's leaning on that knee again. I was real surprised that he stayed in there. They didn't wrap him up, didn't anything. Poured a little water on it, said, Dave, you okay? He said, I could go. Again, with that part of that reason the Tempe Old Devils scrub is doing so well is guys like Dave Aguilera in there pushing and prop Eric Peterson, number 3, in there pushing. If Aguilera has to come out, the push for the Tempe Old Devils will suffer.
He wants to stay in there. Aguilera from Asbury Park, New Jersey. Of course, that's the home of Bruce Springsteen, the rock and roll star. Asbury Park.
What would you think Springsteen would play in rugby?
I think he would be a fly half.
Springsteen is a fly half. He's got the hair of a fly half.
Great kick here for possession, fielded by Carl Hawkins, bringing it back to midfield, kick to touch, and that was nicely done.
He'll get a good spot there by Keith Royal.
Albuquerque Aardvarks continuing to put the pressure on, and now the touch judge will bring it back to midfield.
Keith Royal got a good workout in yesterday. He was over here. He did 1 15s game and all 7s games. And Keith said, I think I'll pass up the post-game festivities and hit the hay about 9 o'clock last night.
Line out here for the Old Devils. They control it. Comes free to Eric Peterson. Peterson getting it back to Thompson. Salty Thompson. He'll maul with it. Leave it off there.
Thompson is so quick and gets rid of that ball so fast.
And they'll maul, continue to maul, looking to try to free it up. Here's a big break for Peterson.
Oh, the big guys are running with it.
Peterson leaving it for someone picked off there by Jeff Walker from Albuquerque. And just that quickly.
Black, watch feet. Black, watch feet. Number.
They're calling them for watching their feet, and that means they are stepping on people a little bit much. You can step on them once in a while, but you just can't repeatedly step on people with your cleats.
I try to do that all the time at work. I don't wear cleats, but nonetheless, I try to step on them. Hayward with the kick here to touch, and a nice boot. Boy, he really got all of that one, didn't he?
Boy, he getting a good spot over there by Royal.
That'll do it the first half here, and that's going to sum up the first half of action here. 17-6 our score. Tempe Old Devils leading the Albuquerque Aardvarks. There's still 40 minutes to play here. Plenty of time, plenty of action coming your way. So keep it. Michelob containers are more than just for carrying beer. 17-6 our scores. The Tempe Old Devils lead the Albuquerque Aardvarks, and Tempe certainly came out and fired this one up right from the start, Scott.
Tempe is putting on an exhibition in super forward play and just attacking rugby. They have been in control of every aspect of this game since the onslaught. Aardvarks have had some opportunities to have great individual play by Bill Hayward with a place kick and a drop kick, but other than that, Albuquerque just really has not been able to move the ball.
We're just about set to start the second half here. Both teams seem fired up and ready to go. Salty Thompson was without a doubt the key player in the first half for the Tempe Old Devils. Thompson had a field goal. He also, had 3 field goals, also helped set up a couple of the tries. And now we have a substitution, I understand.
Rick Aguilera, who had the knee problems 2 times in the first half, has gone out in favor of Kevin Faber, number 17 for the Old Devils.
Here's a kick to touch by Salty Thompson right in front of us here, and you can see our camera shadows casting on the field here. Tremendous job by our photography staff here. The camera operators, Pepe Chitwood, Sue Herzog, Chris Peterson, of course, Dan Shepard working the field. they've done a tremendous job of taking the pictures and bringing it into your living room.
Covering this tournament, Channel 12 has just improved 200% every year.
Here's a kick. Haywood sending it deep into the Old Devils zone, and it's kick to touch here and nearly blasted our tower.
They want you, Kevin. They want you. They want some celebrity head on that ball.
17-6 our score. We're in the second half of our final game of the tournament, the 99th game. And boy, it's been a great tournament. Dave Sitton, who has put it all together, the tournament director and, of course, coach of the Arizona Wildcats, has put together a tremendous tournament. Nobody goes home upset here. I believe we had a little infraction here, a little.
Dave Sitton, really one of the driving forces behind rugby in this country, if not the world. He's one of the main people who brought the Rugby World Cup, and this tournament is known throughout the country as the best run tournament around.
Big break here for the Albuquerque Aardvarks to start the second half. They trail at 17-6, and Bill Hayward will get a kick at goal attempt. This from about 40 meters, 35 meters, and to the left. And certainly this is a makeable kick and an important one. He needs to make it.
This is the most important play of the game for the Aardvarks up to this point. If they can get it, then they're within a try of tying this game.
It's up, and he again has hooked this one well to the left. So Hayward's got to be disappointed in the way he's kicked the ball today.
Well, it's again, showed flashes of brilliance, cannot pull it in, so they are still down 17-6. A try would have brought them in a chance to be only 2 down. But other than that, Hayward has just not been consistent. And in any sort of athletics, that's the key.
We've got them all at just on the other side of midfield. Controlled by Albuquerque as they'll push it to touch.
Tempe can really push those things. Doesn't look like they've lost much from their push with Kevin Faber in there, number 17, the stocky blonde out of Phoenix.
And we'll have a scrum. Interestingly, referee Don Morrison had brought it onto the grass earlier in the game. I think he thinks both teams are warmed up and ready to go. He's going to put it right there on the dirt and really make them dig it out on the infield of High Corbett Field. Back to Thompson. Thompson, high kick here. 4 position. Retrieved there by Carl Hawkins. Hawkins will try to kick it right out to touch. Nice kick there. It's controlled by Luiki Polo Kaukau.
Thompson had good luck with a pop kick last time.
Gets a nice bounce here. Thompson is there. Hayward will kick it to touch and kick it nicely to touch back out to about the 40-meter mark.
Thompson has such excellent anticipation on those kicks. He knows how to gauge his run, so his last 4 steps are full speed into whichever receiver is going to take that pop kick. Real valuable player at fly half. That's the kind of guy you want back there. Someone who's take charge, good running ability, and with an excellent foot. Salty Thompson, be a credit to anybody's rugby team.
Comes back, Peace. Controlled there by Rick Zubiotti. He's the scrum half from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Interestingly, among all these players who've been playing for 15, 22 years, 12 years, Hayward, some of these players in their first year play, Zubiotti, the scrum half, number 9, who'll put the ball into play, is indeed in his first year of rugby.
And when you're talking about a scrum half, you're talking about someone you're counting on for sure hands and a lot of key decisions in the game. To have a first-year player in there, that says a lot for Zubiotti to make the Aardvarks A side.
Gets it back to Hayward, who kicks a perfect kick to touch, perfect possession kick, and puts it deep into the Albuquerque zone, or Tempe zone, excuse me. And Tempe will have the line out, but certainly now Albuquerque on the move. They need to get a couple of quick scores here to get the momentum going.
Albuquerque has to treat every play now that like there's only 5 minutes left. They need the lineouts very badly. They need all the scrubs they could get. They need to get some loose ball out here. We still haven't seen what they get from their backs.
Dave Goldberg puts it into play, and they'll maul just inside the 22-meter line. Controlled by Albuquerque, out to Haywood, nice dummy. Gets inside the 22, has some support help, leaves it, and there's nobody there except for Scott McKinney, and he can't get his hands on it. It's pushed to touch, and
the Aardvarks just don't look like they're in sync. When you take it to the short side like that, you shouldn't have trouble finding support. McKinney turned left and turned right, didn't see anybody, and basically ended up on his back before he could throw it away.
Give me the space. 4.
Here's a line out for Albuquerque, and all important, into a player without a number, and it comes back to Zubiotti. Zubiotti mauling. And it comes free once again. Hayward. Hayward outside to Kevin, to Tom Lavers. Lavers loses the ball, and it's picked up here. Here's a break. Oh, we got a
knock on there by Larry Sims, and he knew it as soon as he did. Didn't hear the whistle right off the bat, but the referee saw no advantage. They'll run it back here. And again, there was a chance where Rick Zubiotti took it on the short side for the Aardvarks. Dave Goldberg comes up and makes a clean hit. The defensive field for Tempe are really attacking all over the field.
Scott, for those watching rugby for the first time, what is a knock-on, if you were going to try to explain it to somebody at home?
When you're running forward with the ball, we could see Mr. Sims down there trying to pick it up, and he didn't quite pick it up cleanly, so the referee interprets that as playing the ball forward with your hands. So you can knock it backward with your hands, but you cannot knock it forward. They call that a knock-on or a knock advantage. And like again, if Sims would not have been able to pick that up, would have got hit for some reason, they wouldn't call the penalty on the advantage rule. But Sims, clearly that knock gave him an advantage.
An important line out here deep in the Tempe Old Devils zone. They lead it 17-6 here at High Corbett Field. Comes free to Pease, to Salty Thompson. Outside, they move the ball well. Get it to Dia George.
One-on-one out here.
And here's a break. Here's Fleetwood. Fleetwood's got a man. That's the Tongan who'll kick it ahead. Picked off by Hawkins. Tongan, Liwaiki Ki Holo Cow Cow.
I'll take that. Hola Cow Cow. And he was hauling Holy Cow Cow there. He was all by himself.
A little Harry Carey for you. Holy cow.
Well, how would you say that backwards, Kevin, if we're really going to do Harry Carey?
I'm having enough trouble saying it forwards as I do. And interestingly, with the Tongans and the Hawaiians, is you pronounce every syllable. So it's Holo Cow Cow. And I think we'll check with them after the game and get the official spelling. Here's a break for the Old Devils now with a quick kick. They didn't take it. Salty Thompson drop kick, center field, and he drilled it. Drilled it. Perfect play by the Tempe Old Devils. They chose not to set it up and take the field goal attempt. They went with a quick kick to play, and
Salty with his 9th point of the day, wide open. It's kind of like a jump shot from the free throw line. You got to make those. Puts it right down on his toe. Perfect trajectory. Salty Thompson, he's the difference in this game to put the Tempe Old Devils up 20-6 here fairly early in the second half.
And it appears we've got a substitution. Jay Broadbent has come into the game. Jay Broadbent, a well-known name in rugby circles here in Tucson. He's come into play for the Tempe Old Devils. Spent many years in the Tucson areas and has been involved in Tucson rugby for a long time. He'll wear number 19 for the Tempe Old Devils. They lead it 20-6. They've really opened it up, and that's why good old Jay's gotten into the game. I'm happy to see him out there. He's a friend of mine.
Jay Broadbent, the president of the Inland Pacific Rugby Union. That's Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Utah. And he definitely deserves a run in a high-profile game like this.
All right, they'll scrum right in front of us here. Great pictures being brought into your living room by Dan Sheffer. Out to Thompson. Thompson get it out quickly to Larry Sims. Sims on the fly to Hala Cow Cow. Cow Cow's got some breathing room down the field. Get it back, some great passing. Some tremendous passing. Leave it off for Dia George. Dia George will take it in for the try.
Classic rugby. Hola Cow Cow in control the whole way. Perfect ball out against Salty Thompson. Mark Fleetwood decides when to pass it perfectly. Hola Cow Cow. Beautiful timing on those passes. That's clearly backwards to Dia George. All the last 3 people to touch the ball were all hit in perfect stride. They don't come any better than that. The All Blacks, the Australian Wallabies, they just don't score any tries better than that. Well done by the Tempe Old Devils.
Well, the 24-6 lead now. Salty Thompson will attempt to put this one in the books. It's all but over now. Thompson teeing it up from about 24 meters, and regardless of whether he makes it or not, he drills it. They are very much in control now. 26-6 our score. The Tempe Old Devils have really opened it up. Thompson, good with 3 field goals on the day. He also has added the conversions. They lead at 26-6, and this one all but over, I think. I mean, we're still early in the second half, but certainly Albuquerque's got to feel a little bit.
Albuquerque needs to come up with a try and a penalty kick here within the next 5 minutes. Realistically, and I think this even, we're too far to knock them out mathematically yet. There's a good 20 to 25 minutes left in this game with a try here right off the bat. If they can get a big play and score 9 or so points right here in the next 5 minutes, they're in it. But they definitely have to feel a sense of urgency. Tempe has dominated every phase of this game.
Yeah, it looked like we had a bit of a knock on there. And an opportunity now, as we said, for Albuquerque. They've been a tough situation. They'll have about a 5-meter scrum here.
Closer.
Yeah,
Down.
They have
Down.
that
Right.
field.
Down.
Let's let the announcer go ahead. Let's go down to the field and see what it sounds like.
Try.
Comes free to Rick Zubiotti, and Zubiotti takes the dive into the end zone for the try. And just when we thought it was all over for Albuquerque, they get a break, a nice kick, a knock on, and here at a 5-meter scrum, it comes free to Rick Zubiotti. Zubiotti just right to the right of your screen, and he frees up and takes it in for the try.
The ball came out of the tunnel instead of coming back. The hooker kicked it back to Zubiotti. He saw the opening and just squirted right in there. I tell you what, you could tell by the sound of that scrum that there is no quitting by the Albuquerque Aardvarks on this field. They put voice and muscle into this thing.
With a score of 26-10 now, Bill Haywood will attempt to add the conversion from about 22 meters. And he hooked it, but he pushed it a little bit to the right. So
hooked that one a little bit late.
Despite the fact that he had a great drop kick earlier in this game, he's been a little bit rough on his field goal and a conversion there. 26-10 our score. The Tempe Old Devils leading the Albuquerque Aardvarks.
That could have been a big play for the Aardvarks because now they need to score 3 tries basically to make up this difference. With a play like that, they're not going to get a knock on like that on every play, but they do need to have some offense and get the ball out to their backs. I would be surprised if we see much kicking anymore from the Aardvarks.
We're late in the second half here now, midway through it. 26-10 our score. The Tempe Old Devils opened up the scoring early. Looked like they were going to put on a clinic, and indeed have led much of the way and performed.
Well, you look at them in that black, and like I say, rugby players so much respect the color of the All Blacks. Tempe is definitely playing like All Blacks.
An ear steal there by Lane Liley. The Aardvarks come free with it. Picked up, they'll maul right in front of us here.
And see how every player made the ball available. Steal the ball, turn your back around, and make it available to your people. Tempe is just in sync today. You have some of those days when you play when everything works for you. The ball is hopping up to their people when they need it. This is a good day for the Tempe Old Devils, and one thing they'll like to see is one of their best games will be Detained for Immortality by Channel 12.
Rough toss there, it comes free. Back outside to Kevin Faber. Faber as they ruck. Drop kick attempt, blocked nicely. Salty Thompson back to retrieve his own missed ball, and he'll kick it well. A tremendous kick into the end zone, and the Aardvarks will go back and touch it for a touchback. But
Salty was leaning backwards on that and being tackled and still came within about 2 feet of making the coffin corner. What a fantastic player, Salty Thompson. Guy named Salty's got to have a haircut like that.
I think you summed it up best. He has been the key for Tempe here as they break again. A little bit of a pass forward here. And I think that's what the referee's going to bring it back. It was indeed a pass forward.
It's kind of a double whammy there. Holakau saw another try in his eyes there, and I think he tried to pick it up and look downfield at the same time, knocked it on and had a little forward pass there at the beginning. Albuquerque, we need a big play from them. They need to break out a razzle-dazzle. If there's such thing as a double reverse here in rugby, I think we need to see one. They are doing a little better in the set pieces. They're not getting driven off the ball as much as they were in the first half, and that's a credit to the Aardvarks because they easily could have quit.
All right.
Well, now that Davis Moffitt's game's done, I guess the flights come back.
The F-14s are circling above and drowning us out here at High Corbett Field, and I guess they're celebrating their big win. Davis Moffitt earlier this afternoon won the
One more. That's good.
won the Continental Championship by beating Palmer College of Davenport, Iowa, quite handily. And here's a nice kick by Bill Hayward, instead booting it. Salty Thompson sending it just the other way, and it's up well into the crowd and out of play.
Kevin, some people might be wondering after watching all this stuff and hearing all the great sights and sounds of rugby, how do you get on a team? Well, there are two clubs here in the Tucson area, the Tucson Magpies and the Old Pueblo Lions. Tucson Magpies finished 9th in the tournament this year, won their game this morning. They went 2-2 throughout the festivities. The Old Pueblo Lions definitely are the younger of the two clubs. Both of these clubs are in the phone book, but if anybody wants to join rugby, one guy who can point them to that is our man Pops, Dave Pops Sitton, the Lord God and runner of the Enterprise group. They're in the phone book. There's no problem to get a hold of him, but he can steer you to either of those teams. The Tucson Magpies, most of their people live in the central part of town, central and northwest. The Old Pueblo Lions are based mostly in the east. They practice one night a week. The international night for rugby practice is Tuesday night all over the world. Excuse me, all over the country. Tuesday night, practicing for rugby. You'll come out one night a week. You better get your running in before that. I don't think these people are going to be in line for rugby playing. Maybe they'll hit the tour next year with the Cats.
Well, of course, that's across the street at Randolph South Golf Course. And we've got an injured player being helped off here. And it is Lane Liley of the Tempe Old Devils. He'll be walked off, and they will have a substitution here late in the game. We're late in the second half. The Tempe Old Devils leading this one quite handily, 26-10. And just to reiterate, if you have any questions concerning rugby, feel free to call Dave Sitton at the Enterprise Group. He's been responsible for the tremendous tournament they've had here. They're singing the great rock and roll song made famous by a group called Steam back in the 60s. Na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye.
Rugby music is another big part of rugby. There's rugby songs that they sing. It's kind of in the vein of row, row, row your boat, but a little different in the lyrics.
Rick Zubiotti trying to get something going here late in the second half for Albuquerque. They trail at 26-10. Albuquerque in white, Tempe Old Devils in black.
Tempe, anything but complacent. With a 16-point lead, you think they might be out there having a little fun, trying to throw the ball around. They are binding whenever chance they get, hitting hard at every point. Tempe Old Devils are trying to show the world that they are going to mean business this season.
Real interesting. One of the players lost a shoe out there, continued to play without it. That's Zubiotti. And, you know, that didn't stop him from continuing on in the maul and the ruck. And he just take a second here. He'll tie it up, and he'll be back in action.
Well, I've seen guys run around there without feet for a couple of different plays. So you just never know what's going to happen here.
Here's a kick for possession, an up and under. Back to retrieve it is Scott McKinney.
Good bind again by the Old Devils. Very clean ball.
Salty Thompson, who's had a tremendous game this afternoon. Outside, nice pitch here to Mark Fleetwood. Fleetwood, the kick ahead is done by Brian Pease. Pease in a big tackle there.
Didn't want to quite do that, but it turned out okay for him. Look how clean the ball comes out to Tempe.
Gives it to
Look
Kudahar.
out here.
Kudahar got some support staff. Tackled as he's headed towards the end zone. It appears he has a forward pass.
Played that on. Kudahar wanted a try. He saw the lane opening up from him. He had people on his left and his right, and they knocked him down, but he had 3 people out there he could have passed it to. When you get up by 16 points, everybody wants their moment of glory. He's got David Sims out there. He could have hit him very easily. Oh, they're calling a little bit of a knock-on Zia George. Too bad.
And we'll have a 5-meter scrum here, and it'll go for Albuquerque deep. And boy, you can hear the winded players out there.
One of the things you really want to do when you're up like this and to nail it in the coffin mentally and physically to a beaten opponent is I think Tempe will be trying to push over the Aardvark pack into the end zone. The Australians tried to do it to the U.S. in the World Cup, couldn't do it. U.S. considered that almost a victory in the whole game. Tempe will really be trying to put the muscle to him here.
It appears Don Morrison wasn't happy with the scrum. He wants it done again. Boy, a quick scrum there. Back it comes, Hayward with the kick to touch, and boy, this is nicely done. Clearing the zone quite easily.
Rides the sideline very well. Got it out of danger there well. That's what he's had to do. He's really been the only bright spot today for the Albuquerque Aardvarks. The 14th annual Michelob Rugby Classic will be replayed this Tuesday, November 8th. After the election results are pretty much decided. I think it'll cooperate this year. Should decide right around 5 o'clock for all the local newses. And then you can settle down and watch rugby all over again. What really made America great.
We'll have a new president in the White House come January. Here's a high kick for possession and up and under by the Aardvarks. Fleetwood is there to try to field it. And it looks like we have a knock on there.
Very, very close. I think the referee wants to keep this a little, this game a little closer, so he's going to start calling a little tighter for the Old Devils. That was just aggressive play by Mark Fleetwood. He punted the pop kick himself, and if no one's going to field it, he'll be the guy to take it.
There's a scrum for the Aardvarks. Zubiotti, get it out to Hayward. Weak side. You heard him yell weak. That's the weak side. Jeff Walker trying to make his way up the sidelines there. That's Walker, 17.
Jay Broadbent is no slouch. He's pursuing here and running as hard as any of the other Old Devils. Of course, not an Old Devil. He's an old Wildcat. We'll have to talk to Jay about that. But Jay still really one of the quality players in the state of Arizona.
Now involved with the Anheuser-Busch Company out of Phoenix, Golden Eagle, and some of the people who are behind this. Michelob, that make it all possible. Michelob and Continental Airlines. They're tremendous help in keeping this tournament one of the best in the country. Nice kick for possession, controlled by John Avila.
Wanted to get that one OB, didn't quite do it there.
And we have a big maul. You can see both teams are a little tired. Nice dummy there by Hayward. Leave it off for Andy Murray. Murray's checked there.
The Aardvarks surprisingly still trying to run it inside, almost like they're sitting on a lead themselves here. They can't really break anything. They are handling the ball a lot better than they have been lately.
Back outside, Hayward, he's trying to dummy. You haven't seen them kick for field position here lately, and that surprises me. They have not kicked it deep into the Old Devil zone, and we've got a whistle, a little bit of a push.
The Aardvarks just really have not been able to win any of the set pieces, any of the line-outs, any of the scrums. I think they feel that they need to keep the ball in their hands to do the most damage. They are handling the ball so much better at trying to get through the beginning of the line, and you would think that's where they drop it, but once they try to get it outside, they just haven't been able to really make anything. After they get it by 2 people, there's usually a ball handling error.
And the winds have picked up here a bit at High Corbett Field. The breeze, as they say in baseball, blowing out towards center field. And certainly, you know, we've got a lot of players here from different parts of the world. And there's the Old Glory waving up there. As
New Zealand flag on the top as the Waikato Harlequins represented them. The Mexico City Wallabies, the first team ever from the country of Mexico to play in the 14th annual Michelob. Kevin, we've had them from all over Michelob. We've had them from Wales, England, Ireland, South Africa, Japan, now Mexico, New Zealand, a truly international event, one of the really great sporting events to come to this town. Just this weekend, every other great sporting event that ever decided to happen in this town was here also.
And once again, I just want to emphasize the tremendous pictures we've had throughout the games we've televised for you here on Tucson Cable 12. Here's a break. Zubiotti just trying to get around everybody, trying to get free. Can't beat Halakaucau there to the sidelines and is pushed into touch.
Boy,
Salty Thompson was there as well.
No surprise. Where have they been hiding Zubiotti? Boy, he really has a quick burst, 2 steps, and he's right on it. The Albuquerque Aardvarks got to be happy with a guy that plays that well after only 1 year of rugby experience.
We're late in the second half here now, and there's a brief pause. Thompson, it looks a little winded or perhaps cut. And now the referee has gone over to talk with him a bit. Let's listen in if we can.
Shake it, relax it. Yeah.
Just pour some water on it.
Just pour some water on it.
You know?
Tuesday is
Okay.
You never thought water was such a powerful medicine, did you,
It's
Kevin?
amazing. It's better than Oral Roberts. It's a miracle cure. A broken arm, put some water on there, and you can go ahead and play the second half.
You know, that's your regular Tucson tap water, folks. They're not out buying sparklets or whatever that stuff. That's only for major injuries. When David Caldwell got kicked in the head Friday night, he got the sparklets.
26-10 our score. This one all but in the books. Tempe in black leading this one. They've led it all the way, and they're on the break here. Fleetwood, get it outside. He's got a man, David Zuck, breaking down the sidelines as they tighten up here in front of us.
Tempe still flawlessly throwing the ball out. Thought they were a little quick with it there. People were more interested in passing it than running it, but still flawless ball handling.
Subiati, get it back to Haywood. Excuse me, get it back to Teal, and Teal will boot it up. Fleetwood is back there to pick it up. Got a lot of running room on that side of the field. Fleetwood's got a man with him. A nice dummy move. Nearly broke it for the try.
Fleetwood hung on to the ball perfect time there. If he would have got rid of it early, could have been a pickoff.
Late here in the second half, 26-10. I guess a good time as any to thank some of the people behind the scenes. We had Terry Quinn up here helping us in the broadcast booth, as well as Marco Bravo handling the sights and sounds here, more the sounds, the audio portion of our production.
And we've really got a chance to hear what rugby sounds like. The parabolic dish microphone out there. You've gotten the sounds of this game. And if this has enticed you to play rugby after this, then you are quite hardy sort, because we've heard what it's really like.
Of course, our great camera crew and all the hardworking people behind the scenes, Bill Thompson, our engineer, and of course,
Number 5.
we'll thank the main people as we get toward the end of the game. We're closing in. Albuquerque trying to keep it alive here. Get it outside to Teal. Oh, here's a burst of speed. Look at this. Look at this speed here from number 16, Tom Lavers. Lavers nearly busted that one for a try.
That we haven't had a chance to see any of the Albuquerque backs do anything all day, and that was about the first time.
Outside to Haywood, try, fakes the reverse. Goes to the far side to Tony Pino. And he's met with some heavy attention there.
A good rucking by the Aardvarks. Now they've decided to get into their game more here with the 5 minutes left at the end of the half. The Aardvarks desperately want to score a try. I can tell you that right now. That is one of the things you have to say you've done against any sort of good side, no matter how far out of reach the game is. And conversely, the Tempe Old Devils can sustain their perch as one of the top teams in the country, and they do not want to let the Aardvarks say that they scored a try, even a give-me try at the end of the game.
Salty Thompson with the kick to touch here, basically just to keep it out of the defensive zone. You wonder if Tempe, oh, look at the hats, really. They've really gone to the Michelob cartons over there. And
you know, I saw those in Paris last week, and I just thought we'd be behind the times here, and now they show up here in Tucson. Tucson, a contemporary city.
Jay Broadbent, there he is, up close and personal. Just a tremendous rugby player and a tremendous man for the game of rugby. He's done so much for the sport here in America and in the state of Arizona.
And you know, Jay Broadbent will be there in August when the Wildcats take their 9th overseas tour to Ireland and Wales.
Serious maul right here in front of us. And it's broken up. Don Morrison.
Kind of looked like the Geraldo Rivera show the other day.
Back 10, White. Back 10.
I'm not sure if that was, are you talking about the big brawl that was on the Geraldo Rivera show or the mud wrestling? It's a combination of the two. Here's a high kick, and Salty Thompson there, picked up by Dave Zuck.
I think somebody from the Tempe Old Devil wants a try here, and I think we might be looking for bigger guys to carry it in here. I think they probably want to get David Goldberg or one of the locks a try here at the end.
Let's listen in on this line out here for the Aardvarks, who are trailing 26-10. Oh, we've got a player down now, so it'll be a brief pause.
I think that is the fullback. Is that Carl Hawkins there?
Yeah, that's why it appears to be. Number 15.
Carl doesn't seem too hurt. I think he just got a stinger in his shoulder. He won't even require the water. They'll fix him back up. Carl's played an excellent game today.
You see the Tempe Old Devils in a bit of a huddle there. They seem to be content with their 16-point lead, 26-10. Let's listen in now. Comes free. Hayward with the kick for possession. Picked off there by Dave Dalrymple. Dalrymple, the drop kick by Mark Wolf. And the referee has blown the whistle here.
Number 2 coming over.
Got a man over the top, and
Kevin, I was just asked by our director, Tom LaRochelle, do you play rugby? Well, I haven't played rugby in a long time, Tom, or fans out there. When I played, I got to play on the wing. I wore a number 14, and even though that's not what they're mixing up in the rucks and the scrums, let me tell you, there are a few hundred times a game when your eyes get just a bit dilated. Now, when were you out there playing last, Kevin?
I have not played the game. I am, and perhaps I could be criticized for being the Howard Cosell of talking about it and not playing, but certainly there's just as much as a battle up here trying to decipher the game and explain it to the fans as it is out there playing it.
It's just nonstop.
Salty Thompson with a high kick here. Go for the suicide. 13 is Larry Sims. Sims trying to back his way in as they maul inside the 22-meter line.
I think Larry Sims is another guy who's played an exceptional game without getting noticed. Sims has been there on every wide ball. He has made at least a couple of passes to assist on tries. He had a beautiful one on Dan Hartwick's try and Lane Lilly's try, and they're just getting a huge effort out of all their people. Fullbacks, all their backs for Tempe have played well in the starring roles, and the forwards have they set the tempo early in the game that they were going to dominate it physically, and they just have all day long. Oh, knocked away nice by the scrum half, Rick Zubiotti.
And we got a whistle.
Tri-City.
Really, the game, despite the fact that Albuquerque trails at 26-10, the game has been played. There's a good shot of Sims there, who's played an important role here. The game has been played in their zone. Albuquerque really been without an offensive threat throughout much of the second half here. They really have not been into it.
They just haven't been able to sustain anything. Salty Thompson just off with the drop kick. They've had the ball down in their zone, and they get it down between the 50-meter line and the 22-meter line, but then Salty Thompson will get back there, or Mark Fleetwood, or they'll get the ball clean in a ruck or a line out.
And another player down. Fatigue, certainly a factor. Certainly severity of blows after 99 games out here, and certainly they've played 4 or 5, many of the players, so.
I think that is Carl Hawkins again. He is he's had it today. It looks like he's holding his head. He might have got stepped on someone. No, that is not Hawkins. That looks like one of the props. Is that John Avila? I think that is John Avila.
Just a reminder that Tucson Cable 12 is your station for hockey, Ice Cat hockey in their 10th season, and Coach Leo Golombieski taking on Wisconsin Whitewater, the Warhawks, on November 11th at 7:30 p.m. We'll have it live for you on Tucson Cable 12. Ice Cats now 2-0 on the early year, and Coach Golombieski's got to be happy with that. Great start after a rough year last year, and pushed into touch here right in front of us.
The Albuquerque Aardvark still going hard after every ball. There can't be much more than 2 or 3 minutes left in this. We might be going on a little bit of injury time. The Aardvarks just have really not been able to get any luck, and Tempe's been playing well and getting luck today.
Black 4, green 2.
Off the line out. Pease controls it. Dave Pease Had a man there, couldn't get it to Kevin Faber.
How sure-handed the Old Devils are. Even when the ball is kind of haphazardly pitched back, they grab everything. Very few knock-ons.
Zubiotti, he's wrestled to the turf by Salty Thompson, who's been all over the field today. And they'll maul.
Looks like the clean ball is going to come out there for the Aardvarks. And you just don't know where it is in there. You really don't.
No real movement, so referee Don Morrison has called for a scrum. And
I think it'll be a
go for the
Aardvark scrum.
No, it'll go over to the Old Devils.
Oh, yeah, well.
Old Devils would get, they had a bit of an advantage, had it last.
Here could be one of their last times to showcase some of their backs here.
Get it outside, Thompson.
Salty.
The high kick.
Watch that back up right on the goal line.
Tough job handling it. Kevin Faber went to the, Jeff Walker went to the end zone and had trouble touching it back. And we will have a...
Salty put just a 9-iron backspin on that thing, and if Faber wouldn't have been there, that thing would have spun back probably about 5 yards right up into David Zook's hands for a try.
5-meter scrum here for Tempe, who just tried to push their way home into the end zone, and it's kicked to touch about 10, 12 meters out. Looks like Tempe is trying to add some icing on this cake.
Like I say, Tempe is going to want to get some reward for the 3, 4, 5 boys, the tight 5 that have been up there sweating it out and gutting it out all day. They would love to have one of those guys say, yeah, call me a touchdown hero.
Here's the line out, the long toss, controlled by Brian Peace. Peace comes free. Zubiotti got a man with him. This is Walker down the sidelines. Cut back.
Good defense by Jay Broadbent, got a hand on that ball. Walker was flying down the sidelines there. He had 2 young bucks who are displaying some speed for Albuquerque Rugby Football Club. New Mexico, also another hot spot for rugby. The New Mexico State Chili's, one of the up-and-coming teams collegiately in this region. University of New Mexico just restarted their rugby club. We'll see New Mexico teams back in this tournament in force.
Scrum white.
Scrum white, you heard referee Don Morrison trying to tackle a man without the ball.
Starting to go down. Stay on your feet, guys.
Come on, Jay.
We only got
Jay.
4 minutes to go.
Jay.
4 minutes. Give me your scrum.
Got
All
a
right.
time on there.
4 more.
There you heard the referee. 4 minutes to play, so really not a whole lot of time. 26-10 our score. Tempe Old Devils well in control of this one. They've led it from start to finish.
Wait a minute. No second
Salty
row, no
Thompson
second row.
with 3
There we
field
are. All
goals, a couple of conversions. He's been the real difference.
I think that Salty Thompson has been the outward difference, but the inward difference, and what Bill Kimball was telling me, if you see our forwards beating the Albuquerque forwards to the ball and running off the second phase ball, that we are in sync, and that is what they have done from the outset. Tempe has carried out their game plan flawlessly. They've really played every part of the game flawlessly. Bill Kimball must be extremely pleased.
Back outside Hayward, try a little reverse spinning move to Tony Pino. Pino's 14. And they'll maul just outside the 22-meter line.
And everybody binds for the Old Devils. They push Albuquerque around wherever they want to. Wheel them around
A
here.
little bit of organized mayhem here.
I was going to say, at the beginning of the show, Kevin, I was also going to say this is the 99th game of this 3-day rugby gala. Do you call 3 days of people beating themselves on the heads a gala?
I think you call those guys sitting in the stands with Michelob cartons on their head gala.
That's gala.
Okay.
It's a rugby Gaelic, I guess.
Outside Thompson, Salty Thompson making a break for the end zone. He's just going to take it in himself for the try. A tremendous single-man effort.
Well, that makes sense. In the final minute here, Salty Thompson, easily the #1 player in this game today, just turned number 14 around, Tony Pino, and sheer determination dove it on in. He went right up on his tiptoes to take that in. Salty Thompson has done it all. A drop kick, 2 penalty kicks, 2 conversions, trying for a 3rd one with a try. That's the, I think, and that's all just a basic day at the office for Salty Thompson. That's the kind of thing they expect out of him in Tempe.
30-10 our score now. Thompson will scoop up the infield to try to make it 32-10. Are you surprised that Tempe has beaten Albuquerque so handily?
I didn't get to see Albuquerque play much yesterday, but you just don't run into a team that's hitting on all cylinders like the Tempe Old Devils are today. Sometimes you have a little breakdown in your backs and your ball handling, or sometimes you're just not in sync on your rucks, scrums, and mauls, but the Old Devils are just really hitting on all 8 cylinders. It's kind of like what UCLA football players said when they beat Arizona here a couple weeks ago in the stadium. We're just on today, and they were just definitely on today.
Well, Thompson kicks goes wide, but that will do it. The time has run out here in the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic, the international final. It is indeed the Tempe Old Devils coming away with a 30-10 victory over the Albuquerque Aardvarks. We'll be back to wrap things up at High Corbett Field as Tempe celebrates in the Michelob Continental Rugby Classic. We had the international final. The Tempe Old Devils outlasting Albuquerque 30-10. Pretty impressive performance by Tempe today.
Tempe Old Devils, like I say, the ASU Sun Devils really aren't the powerhouse rugby team in this state, but the Tempe Old Devils, year in, year out, prove that they are the best team in the state of Arizona, and they're going to make some waves throughout the rugby world with this performance they put on today. It was inspired and just clean rugby. Not a lot of kicking, just good ball possession, good movements from the backs, and we saw one of the premier players, I think, that we've ever seen in this tournament, Kevin, Salty McPherson.
Salty Thompson. Salty Thompson was put in a tremendous performance. He was all over the field. He kicked the ball well and really did a tremendous job. There you see a shot of him on the sideline celebrating their victory as they head back to Tempe. Now, taking a look at some of the highlights from this game, certainly the one that broke it open was the try by...
This try by Holakalu. He immediately gets the ball. Great passing here to Dia George. They hit 3 people on the dead run there. Dia George, the wing from Wales, out from David Svims and Holakau. Unbelievable game. And then in the Continental Final, Davis Monfin, 14, came through, played Palmer so well. The Palmer Old Boys looked like they were winning the game all through the tapes. They moved the ball beautifully up and down the field. But Davis Monfin, when they had to make the big play, defensively, did it when they had to, and then offensively just made big plays. A lot of block kicks and a lot of good handling by the backs.
It's been a great afternoon of rugby football here at High Corbett Field, as it has been a great weekend of football here. A tremendous 14th annual Michelob Continental Rugby Classic. We couldn't have been possible without Tucson Cable 12 televising it live this weekend. I want to thank some of the people behind the scenes. Of course, our director, Tom LaRochelle, did a tremendous job directing our show, giving you those insights to the game. Our producer, Tony Villanova, and of course, our executive producer, Jennifer McKinney. For all of us here at Tucson Cable 12, it's been fun. We'll see you next week on Ice Cat Hockey Friday night. So long, everybody.